Hey guys, this is Panther8644 back with another commentary. This is actually going to be the first time that I have ever commentated over gameplay that was pre-recorded. That's because I had already recorded this video commentating live, and I decided that what I was talking about was better displayed through other methods instead of me making a 10-minute video about it. So I'm going to pretty much just make some sort of like a text link or PowerPoint. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it, but it's in regards to voice chatting during my my games with you guys. This video was outlining the procedure in order to do that, but I found, I don't know, I kind of figured that if someone wanted to do that, there's a way easier way than watching a 10-minute video about it. You know, I could outline it in just a minute or two. So I wanted to make a way that would be easy to edit if I ever need to change something, like a server or my program that I'm using, and not something that I would, need someone to sit through 10 minutes to get all the information. So I'm going to figure out the best way to do that. But for now, if you have any questions as far as how to reach me via voice messages, or not voice messages, but voice chat during games, just send me a personal message and I can fill you in. So for right now, that's how we're going to have to do it. But anyway, since I don't want that to be the topic of this video, I thought I would talk a little bit about just next generation consoles in general. I know I talked about the Wii U last video, or not last video. I talked about Castle Crash's last video. I talked about the Wii U 2 videos ago, but still, I think, just because the Wii U came out doesn't mean it should get all the attention, because even rumors of the next Xbox, I've been hearing some things that it's not going to be called the 720. So for future-proof sake, I'm just going to call it the next Xbox. I haven't heard anything about the PS4, but besides the fact that a couple different sources have said that its hardware is going to probably be worse than the next Xboxes. They're both different. One of them is going to be AMD APU based, if you know what an APU is. If you don't, pretty much what it is it's an AMD processor that has a graphics chip on the actual CPU itself, so they call it an APU, as in accelerated processing unit, I believe. And pretty much all that means is that you have graphics performance without needing to buy a graphics card. It's still not the best in the world. You're not going to be able to run the most intense games at amazing frame rates with the best effects and stuff, but it gets the job done. And I saw something that the PS4 would have an AMD APU on it, which concerns me, because that's not, it's supposed to be gaming grade as far as mainstream, maybe more casual, medium settings, lower resolutions, that kind of thing. So putting that on a top tier console kind of concerns me, but this is just all speculation. Stats have not been released as far as the specs go, so this could just be complete speculation. So that being said, the Wii U came out. It's still a cool video. Check out my video on it if you want to hear my thoughts about it. I think that it's a cool idea, but it needs to have the titles in order to be more than just something that someone plays every once in a while when they have friends over. As it stands right now, it is pretty cool. I watched another video on it, and it looked like it'd be a lot of fun, but it also looks like you need to have a party there in order to make it fun. That's just how it looks like it needs to be. Playing a lot of those games by yourself wouldn't be fun. Anyway, I've already talked about this. The thing I want to talk about now is pretty much, since I'm more of an Xbox guy than a Sony PlayStation sort of guy. I've had PS2s and PS1s, but I kind of sit more firmly in the Microsoft camp as far as consoles go. So as far as the next Xbox, like what do I want out of that system, since nobody knows what it's going to be? Preferably, there's a couple things. One, it needs to have Blu-ray. At this point, it's not even an option. The PlayStation has had Blu-ray since launch. Xbox tried to do the HD DVD extension, which, since HD DVD failed because it was an inferior technology, so it deserved to fail. Microsoft just needs to bite the bullet and put one in there, because it will increase sales, not just so people will buy an Xbox, for games, but they can also buy it for a Blu-ray player. I know a lot of people that's what their PlayStation does, and that's the only reason why it's being used. But being used somewhat is better than not being used at all. So, in my opinion, they need to get a Blu-ray player for a wider reach as far as who's going to be interested in it, and longevity of the device. I know the Xbox 360 has been a very, very long-living system as of now, but if games aren't coming out that people want to buy, the Call of Duty franchise is always going to be popular, Halo's always going to be popular, those kind of things, but if someone's not interested in those, then what are they going to do with their Xbox? So I think it just adds to that not media PC, but the media hub for your entire household that it seems that Microsoft's chasing with their Netflix apps and their different music apps, movie apps, that kind of stuff. So they need to have a Blu-ray player. That's point number one I want to make. Number two is definitely that it needs to be powerful enough in order to play the vast majority of games at 1080p, 30 frames per second. This is a very, very far-fetched dream, but 60 frames per second. I know that's probably not going to happen, but at least 30 frames per second. Right now, the Xbox is capable of it. Contrary to what a lot of people think, it can actually play games at 1080p. The problem is most developers, they can't code their game to run at 30 frames per second at 1080p, so they usually scale it back to 720p. I saw a couple examples of, there's a Rayman game that actually runs at 1080p, and that's awesome, it looks amazing. But as far as actually playing 1080p games, there's a very, very small selection. So they need to get on that and make sure that whatever chips they choose for this console are going to be able to play these games at 1080p. Because, oh my gosh, I can't stand games that are played on high-res screens at lower resolutions. Because what happens is this thing called aliasing. If you notice, in certain games, if you don't turn on this thing called anti-aliasing, you get those jaggy edges around geometric objects, and it annoys the crap out of me. The Xbox is not powerful enough to run anti-aliasing along with the games, so resolution boost wouldn't completely fix it, but it would help it so much. Because right now, try playing TrackMANIA Nations if you have a 1080p screen at 1080p. Play a couple tracks, alright? Now switch it to 720p and notice the difference. It looks like crap. Maybe it's just me and I'm kind of, attuned to look at that kind of stuff, but I notice it and it drives me crazy. Whenever I see someone playing on a console, I immediately can tell this is on a console, because now I'm so detail oriented based on my PC play that I just notice it. So try that, see what you guys think as far as 720p versus 1080p on a 1080p screen. I think it makes a sizable difference, and it would benefit the Xbox to have that. And I think the last thing on my list would probably be to fix the Kinect. Right now it's very gimmicky. It's kind of Wii-ish as far as how much usability it actually has. So they need to make it more accurate and have more actual titles that people will want to play. And I think at that point, once it has that lag fixed, I know it's really hard to do, but if they fix that lag, it would benefit them greatly. So yeah, Blu-ray player, 1080p gaming at 30 frames per second, and fixing Kinect, or at least making it better, I think would greatly benefit them. So thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and have a nice day.